Begin today the third Perek of Masechta Bava Metzia, Perek HaMafkid. This Perek is going to talk about halachas that relate to a shomer of a pekadon, person that's keeping for someone an object. There's different levels of a shomer. There's a shomer chinam, a shomer sachar, a seicher, or a shayol. The shomer chinam is only obligated or responsible for any negligence, a pshia. Shomer sachar is also responsible for a gneva v'aveda if it gets stolen or lost. And the shayol and the seicher, there's an argument about it. We'll see later in the Masechta it's brought as well. And the shayol is responsible even for an einus that occurs. There are cases that the shayol is pater as well, as we'll see in the Hemshech of the Gemara. So here this Perek begins with a specific halacha v'nigei to the responsibility of the shomer. Let's see. A person gives his friend to keep for him either an animal or just vessels. It got stolen or lost. So now, this person that we're talking about here in the Mishnah is a shomer chinam. So he can just simply claim that it got stolen and lost, and then he would have to swear that this is what happened, and that he didn't take it, and he could pater himself. But what happened was, shilem, this shomer says, I'll pay you for it. He didn't want to swear to pater himself from paying. As Rashi says, what would he have to swear? He would have to swear that it wasn't my negligence, no pshia, and also le'shalach bayad, I didn't touch it, because the moment he touches it, it's like a gneva, then he becomes responsible for anything that happens to it. But he didn't want to swear, and he paid. Shaharei yomru, because the halacha regarding the shomer chinam is shomer chinam nishba v'yaitze. He can just swear that it was no negligence, and then that's it. He's no responsibility. So now after this, after he swore and he did not want to swear, that is, after he says he doesn't want to swear and he pays, nimtza haganev, and now the ganev with this object is found. Now the ganev is found, so as we know the halacha regarding a ganev is, he pays, and he has to also pay not only the principle of what he stole, but also kefil, double. Mishalem, so now when he pays, he pays the tashlumi kefil, regarding the object, if it's a keli, so you pay the double for that. Or regarding the animal, tovach umachar, if this ganev was found, not only that he stole it, but he either slaughtered it or he sold it to someone else, where then the halacha is that mishalem tashlumi arba v'chamisha, that the ganev has to pay for this that he slaughtered it or sold it 4 or 5 times as much of the value of what it is. Whether it's an ox, then you pay only 4 times as much. If it's a lamb, you pay 5 times as much. Now lami mishalem, to who does he pay this extra payment of the kefil or the dalid v'hei? L'mi shapekadon etzlai. He pays it to the shomer, to the one that was keeping the pekadon by him. After the shomer pays up to the owner for this object or for the animal, so now through this he gets the rights for the payment of the kefil or the dalid v'hei comes to him. And the Gemara will explain why that is, why he gets it. However, nishba, if, however, the shomer did swear to say that I wasn't a pisheya, I didn't touch it, and he didn't want to pay. And then nimsa ganev, the ganev is then found, mishalim, tashlumi kefil, so the ganev pays the kefil, or tovach machar, if he slaughtered or sold it, mishalim, tashlumi arba v'chamisha, he pays 4 or 5 times as much of the value of this animal, and lemi mishalim, who does he pay this to? L'baal ha'pekadon, he pays it to the owner of the pekadon. Okay, so before the Gemara explains the basis of the whole Mishnah, what's the reason why the ganev, the shomer, when he paid, gets that payment of the kefil or the dalad v'hei from the ganev? Yeah, that's obvious. We're not talking about that. Here the chiddush is benegay to the kefil and the dalad v'hei. So the Gemara first explains why the Mishnah mentioned 2 cases, behema or kalim. What's the chiddush in each one of them? Sagt the Gemara, lamali lemisna behema, v'lamali lemisna kalim. Why is the Mishnah mentioning both a behema and kalim? Answers the Gemara, tzrichi, it's necessary for the Mishnah to say both. And here the basis of this tzricha is going to be really what the Gemara is going to say later, that the owner of this pekadon is interested in giving the shomer the rights to take this kefil if he's going to pay. It's in the interest of the owner. He's giving over. He wants to give that payment of the kefil to the shomer if he pays him for it when it comes and claims that it got lost and so on. So this that the owner is interested in giving the kefil to the shomer, there's a chiddush by each one of them, by the behema and by the kalim. The Tana Behema, if the Mishnah would only say the case of the Behema, Hava Mina, I would say Behema Uda Makne Lekfela. The reason why the owner of this animal is interested that the Shemer should receive the kefil when he paid for it, because he's giving him a Behema to keep for him, which there's a lot of work in this. Liyule, Lafuket, to take it in, to take it out, and everything you have to do with the Behema. But if he's giving you kalim just to keep for him, there's no tircha involved. You just put it in a drawer somewhere, put it in a safe place. Here, maybe the owner does not have any interest in giving the kefil to the shomer. On the other hand, v'itana kalim, if the Mishnah would only say the halacha regarding kalim, havamina, then I would say kalim hudekamaknile kfela. Regarding the vessels here, the owner wants that the shomer should be able to get the kefil if he pays him for it. Mishom the leinafish keflayu, because it's just kefil. The payment is the ganav pays only kefil, not more. But regarding an animal, the owner would be losing much more. The ganav would have to pay, if he slaughtered or sold it, 4 or 5 times as much. In this case, he's not makne the dal vehei or the kefil either. The whole payment should go to the owner. Therefore, tzricha, the Mishnah says that the halacha applies regarding the behema as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's the tzricha of the kalim and the behema. But now the Gemara has explained. We'll come back to explain what's b'chlal this halacha. How exactly is the shomer kaina this kefil from the owner here? Mas kefla Rami Bacham asks on our Mishnah, v'ha'ein adam makne dava shaloi ba lo'elam. A person can't sell something that doesn't exist in the world over here. So the Gemara's understanding right now is that the owner of this object, when he gets paid, so he's makne, he gives over to the shomer the rights for the kefil. When the ganav is going to pay the kefil, he's saying, I'm selling you, I'm giving you that kefil. If the ganav will be found, it's yours. But what is he being makne to him? That kefil, the ganav wasn't found yet, and he's not ba'ilam. Or it's not only at the time when he's coming to pay, it's in the time when the shomer receives the chayfetz. When the shomer receives the chayfetz from the baal, from the owner of this pekodin. So at that time, the owner is makna the kefil. If it's gonna happen that it will be stolen, so then you're gonna get that kefil. But how is he selling it to him? How is he giving it over to him? It's a davar shaloi ba lo'elam, as the Gemara specifies here. Now va'afil Rab Meir. Even according to Rab Meir's opinion, which we learned in Gemara and Bava Metzia brings this, the Omar Adam Makne Davar Shalei Ba Lo'elam, that a person could sell something. There is a kinyan that could take effect regarding something that doesn't exist in the world. But Hanamili, when is that possible? Kogoim paid is dekel, Davidi also. That's only in the case when you have a tree and you're selling someone the dates that are going to grow on this tree, which the tree produces these dates. The tree is already here, and that's the nature of the tree that it grows. The way this is learned out from Rab Meir is, Rashi brings it, Rab Meir said this regarding a case where a person says to Isha, you should be Mekideshes to me when I become a ger, or when you become a ger. So from that we learn out that if it's something that is loy bala olam, Rab Meir says here that the Kedushin takes effect. So the Rishonim say, one of the pshatim of the Rishonim, based on what our Gemara says over there, that case there must be talking about where the person is mamish already planning and in the process of becoming a ger. Or this woman is also in the process of becoming a ger. So it's like something which is avidi dasi, it's going to come. And other cases there as well, similar. But over here though, in our case, regarding the fact that the owner of this object is giving over the rights to collect the kefil to the shomer, so it's totally loy ba lo'elam, and it's not even common that it should happen. Because mi yemed the mignefe. Number one, who says that this object will even be stolen altogether? That there should be an existence of kefil here. And even vim tim tzleim the migneve, even if it will be stolen, mi yemed the mishtakach ganev. Who says that you'll find the ganev? And vi mishtakach ganev, and even if the ganev will be found, mi yemed the mishalim. Who says he's going to end up paying the kefil? Dil memayde umiftar. The halacha by kefil, like every knas is, if the person is maide that he stole it, then he doesn't pay this knas of kefil. So there's many different things that show you that the payment of kefil is something that's not common at all. So such a thing is loy ba lo'elam, even according to Rab Meir, and you can't sell it. So Rav explains, the pshat in our Mishnah is as follows. Nase ka'oimaloi, this is as if the owner of this object, when he gives it to the shomer, he's telling him, l'kishetik tignav v'tirtzeh, v'tashalmeni, if it gets stolen, and then you will want, and you will pay me, you will agree to pay me, harei parasi knui l'cha ma'achshav. So this cow right over here is your cow. So therefore, the cow that was stolen is going to be yours that was stolen, and therefore you get the kefil. He's not just being maknim the kefil. He's being maknim the para. If it gets stolen, then it's going to be kruya to you retroactively from now, and therefore he gets the kefil. So the para is bailam. So the Gemara asks on this, Maskefla Rav Zera, if that's the pshat, so Rav Zera asks, if so, afile gizoisel, uvlodisel, if so, any of the things that come, the shvach that comes here on this animal, the sharings of the wool, or the animal that gives birth, is nami. So now that you're saying that me'achshav, you sold him the para itself, so those things that, if the animal gave birth or so on, the shomer should also receive it. Why did we learn a brayse about this? That the shomer will get the kefil, but giziseh, v'lodiseh, the sharings of the wool or the birth that the animal gives, that the shomer doesn't get. That does go back to the original owner. So therefore Rab Zera says you have to say this a bit differently. You have to say that it's as if the owner of this animal is saying to the shomer, chutz migiziseh of lodiseh, that you're going to be kaineh the entire animal, and therefore by the geneva you're going to get the kefil of this, but you're being kaineh the animal and the kefil, but not the giziseh of lodiseh. That not, except the giziseh of lodiseh, that's mine. So the Gemara says, my poske, why are you saying it this way? Why are you dividing this and you're saying that this is the understanding of the intention of the owner? Why are we estimating that this is there's a umdana, that this is the intention of the owner, that he means to give him over the para for the fact that he'll be able to get the kefil, but not for giziseh v'lodiseh, but not any, and the shvach, the sharings or the animals not. What's the difference? So the Gemara answers, stam de milsa, because it's stam. It's an assumption that we know that shvacha dasa me'alme avedinish de makne. You own this animal. If there's a shvach, if there's any improvement that comes from this animal that comes from elsewhere, it's not in the body of the animal itself, like the payment of the kefil that the ganav pays. That a person gives. That a person is makne. Avedinish de makne. He's makne to the shomer. Shvacha de migufa. But the improvements that are here, that are coming from the body of the animal itself, like avedinish de makne. That's not in the nature of the owner of this animal. He doesn't want to be makne to the shomer, something that's from the body of the animal itself. So therefore, our assumption is that the owner, for the security that he wants to have regarding this animal, that if it gets stolen, and the shomer will return it to him for the security of the animal itself, so he's ready to be makna the kefil, but not the shvach that comes from the animal itself. Huh? You could say something else. This is the Gemara says, Stamid de Milsa, that a person owns something, the actual shvach of this animal itself, that he doesn't want to give away. But the kefil he's ready to give away if this shomer pays back the value of the animal itself.
We're talking about if this happens by the gun.
Yeah, correct. So then who's going to get that giziseh of lodiseh? He has to give it back. Who does he give it back to? Who gets it? So the Brisa says not the shomer. It goes back to the owner. There's another version of how Rava said this. Rava said, Nase ka'imuloi. When a person gives this animal, this item to the shomer, it's like he's saying to him, Likishetiganev. If it gets stolen, you're going to agree to pay me. You're going to agree to reimburse me, even if it's a case where you're not even obligated. But you're going to agree to reimburse me. You're going to be kainit right before the geneva. Before the geneva, in order for him to be able to be kind of the kefil, how's he being kind of the kefil? Again, the Gemara's question was, "Is the davish le'balaylam?" The answer is he's being kind of the para. But according to this version of Rava, he's not being kind of the para retroactively from now, me'achshav, with the meshicha, with this that the shomer is taking the para into his possession now. The key is going to be then, whenever the geneva happened, an hour before the geneva, a while before the geneva, that's when he's kainet. How is he kainet? The Gemara is soon going to, you see from the Hamshach of the Gemara, he's kainet then with a kinyan of chotzer. The fact that this para at that time, right before the geneva, is in the chotzer of the shomer, so that's when he's going to be kainet, the para itself, to be able to then receive the kefil. My binayu, what's the difference between these two versions of what Rav said? Ikke binayu. So first of all, the difference is kushi de Rab Zera, the question that the Rab Zera asked. According to the second version of what Rav said, the question of Rab Zera is not a question. The question was when it gave to the Gizais and the Vladais, that the Gizais and the Vladais should go back to the Shemer, but over here, in this time period, the Gizais and the Vladais does not go back to the Again? The Gizis and the Vladais go back to the owner, correct? That question of Rab Zera does not apply. According to the Lishna Basra, the Gizis and the Vladais, he's only being makna to him from right before the time of the Gneva, right? But not from the Gizis and the Vladais before. The Braisa before was talking about the Gizis and the Vladais from before, not the Gizis and the Vladais after. Going back to what you asked before, yeah. The Gizis and the Vladais from afterwards. We're not talking about that actually. We're talking about from before. So the question of Rab Zera is not a question.
By the Shemer?
Huh? Yeah, the Gizis and the Vladais.
What's he cutting it for?
If the animal's too heavy, after a certain point, you have to cut the Gizis, and the Vladais, the babies are born. So the Gizis and the Vladais in that time period, in the possession of the Shemer, he has to take care of the animal, everything, whatever it is. He has to shear the wool, and he has to take care of everything. So those Gizis and Vladais is what we're talking about over here. And according to the first version of Rava, you're going to have to say that he meant to say chutz the Gizis and the Vladis, because of the question of Rav Zera. But according to the second version, he's only being makna to him the para right before the time of the Gneva, not from before. Inami, or another point the Gemara says, the kaime ba'agam. If this animal right before the Gneva wasn't even in the chotzer, in the place of the shemer, it was somewhere in a swamp, in a place which is not his chotzer, so then he's not going to be kind of the kefil. According to the first version of Rava, how are you kind of the kefil? Lima freya, from the time of when you got the pada and the meshicha, when you got it, then that's the kinyan that you kind it. But according to the second version of Rava, he's telling him, or it's as if he told him, that at the time right before the Gneva, you kind it. How? With a kinyan of chotzer. But it has to be in your chotzer. If it's in an agam, you're not going to be kind it. And Rashi clarifies, you can't say that the Meshicha from the beginning will work for him to be kind of later, right before the Geneva, because you can't be kind of with Meshicha that way. With Meshicha, you only kind of then, B'shas Maisa, when you do the Meshicha. You can't do Meshicha before and then be kind of later, even though it's not in your possession, B'chlal. Okay, so that's the pshat in the Mishnah, that it's a kinyan, this is the das of the owner, when he gives it over, that it's a kinyan that it should be kind of, in these two versions here. Now the Gemara goes back to another detail, what it said here in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said that if he pays, and he didn't want to swear, so then he gets the kefil. So Amr Rab Yechanan said in the name of Rab Yechanan that loy shilim mamish, when it says in the Mishnah that he pays, that the shemer then gets the kefil, doesn't mean only if he mamish paid already. As soon as he comes and he says, I'm ready to pay, even if he didn't pay yet, with saying that he's ready to pay, he's going to get the kefil. As the Rishonim say, this has to be in the bezdin. Can't not stam that he told him privately. If he came and said it in the bezdin, so it obligates him already. He obligates himself to pay, so then he's going to pay. So the Gemara says, what did it say in our Mishnah? Tanan, the Mishnah said, Shilem, if he paid, and he didn't want to swear, then he gets the kefil. Says the Gemara, Shilem in lay Shilem lay. It sounds like from the Mishnah, if he paid, then he gets the rights for the kefil, but not if he didn't pay. Wanting to pay, saying that you're going to pay is not good enough. So the Gemara says, but what did it say in the next part of the Mishnah where it says that he does not get the kefil? In the Sefer of the Mishnah it said, Nishba v'loy rotza l'shalem. If he swore to pater himself, he swore that it was a gneve, it wasn't his pshia, and he did not want to pay, so here he does not get the kefil. So what does it say in the Mishnah? V'loy rotza. So time of the loy rotza. The Mishnah uses the expression that he didn't even want to pay. He wasn't interested in paying. Ha rotza. So it sounds like from the Mishnah, as long as he wanted to pay, he said, I'm ready to pay, even before he actually paid, that is enough that he should be kind of the kefil. So says the Gemara, we have a sort of a contradiction here in our Mishnah. The Mishnah, you can't prove either way. The lashon of the Mishnah is not clear, so you can't ask a question on Rav Yechanan.
He says what's even if he didn't
okay,
pay also.
Okay, but from the Reisha though it was mashma dafka shilim. That's what the Gemara is saying. There's no raya from the Mishnah. Tanya Kavah said that Rabbi Yechanan, we learned in the Brayso like what Rabbi Yechanan said, a person rented a cow from his friend, v'nigneva, and it got stolen. V'amah, this person comes along and says, Hareini mishalem, I'm ready to pay for this, v'eni nishpa, I'm not going to swear to pat to myself. V'achakach nimtza ganev, and then the ganev is found. Mishalem tashlumi kefil. So who do you pay to? You pay the kefil, the seicher. You pay to the seicher. So the Brayse here clearly says va'ama Allah. Doesn't say he paid. He says the person said, "I'm ready to pay." So then you pay the kefil to the seicher. So you see exactly like Rabbi Yochanan said. Over here also on this Brayse, you see another thing, that when this person says he's ready to pay and he's not going to swear to pater himself, this is even in a case where the truth was that he was really chayiv because it was a gneva. And by the seicher, according to one opinion, by the seicher, he was chayiv on the gneva. But still, he had the option to pater himself. The whole time when we're talking about the fact that this person could have patered himself, it's not only in a case where alibid de emes, it was true that he was pater because he was not pisheya, or because he's a shem echinam and he's pater on gneva, even if he's a shem esachar and he's chayiv on gneva, but he could pater himself. He could pater himself in saying that it was a oinus. He still could have patered himself even with a lie. The fact that he could have patered himself with a lie and he doesn't, he chooses to come and pay, even if he's chayav al pidin to pay, that's still going to be still he's going to get the kefil. Amar Rav Papa said, Shoy mechinam. So here, Rav Papa goes through, the Gemara, he goes through now different cases of different kinds of shemrim regarding this halacha. So the Shoy mechinam, ki mishama pashaiti. If the Shoy mechinam comes and admits and says, I was negligent, and he pays, makna lekfela. So the owner of the object also gives him the kefil. The boy pata nafshe begeneva, because he could have pat. This is the case of the Mishnah. He could have patted himself and said that it got stolen, and even if it wasn't true, but it doesn't matter. He could have patted himself. So therefore, if he says there was a pshia, he pays. He gets the kefil. That is. Now, Shem Esachar, Kivim Shama Nigneve, a Shem Esachar that comes and admits and says that this object was stolen from me. Makna lekfela, so the owner is makna the kefil as well. He could have patted himself by saying that an oinus happened, that it broke or died, and it's out of my control. So he gets the kefil as well. A shoyel that says, I'm ready to pay. Over here, the owner is not makna the kefil. Why? Because how could he be patted himself? A shoyel is chayav even for an oinus. Now he could have patted himself b'meisa machmas malacha. If it dies in its work, just in working, it just dies like all of a sudden. Then because of the work, if it died, then he's pater. So, but the Gemara says so. He still could have patted himself. But meisa machmas malacha lo yishchiach. The fact that it dies in the work is something which is not common, so therefore that is something that he will not get the kefil because he could have patted himself with this kind of a taina. That's one version of what Rav Papa said. Another version of what Rav Papa said is, no, Rav Papa said, Shoyel Nami, just like the other kinds of shemrim. When it comes to a person that borrowed a cow as well, and he's chayiv even for an oinus, Kivin Shama Areni Mishalim, when he says that I'm ready to pay, Makni Lekfela. The owner is maknem the kefil. Why? The boy pata nafshe b'meisa machmas v'lacha, because he did have an option to pater himself by saying that it just died in the work. Okay, so that's the two versions here in what Rav Papa said. Now, in the actual language of these two versions of what Rav Papa said, it was talking about when he says he's ready to pay. In the first version, Rav Papa says regarding the shayel, if he says he's ready to pay, then he will not get the kefil. And in the second version, Rav Papa says the shayel that says that he's ready to pay will get the kefil. Now, Amalei Rav Zvid says, Hachi Yomer Abaye, this is what Abaye said, shayel, when it comes to a shayel, ad yishalem, he doesn't get the kefil unless he actually pays the owner. Not like the other shemrim, according to what Rabbi Yochanan said before, and what we saw in the Brayse, that just saying that you're ready to pay, you already get the kefil. Not by a shayel. By a shayel, it's only when you actually paid. Why should we make a distinction? My time, because when it comes to the shayel, it's different than all the other shemrim. He's not doing a favor to the owner. He's has it for himself, for his own benefit, to use it, to borrow it, to use it for himself. So therefore, b'dibura limakna lekfela. Just the fact that the person comes and says he's ready to pay, the owner is not ready to be maknam the kefil. By all of the shemrim, when the shem is doing you this favor, so over here our assumption is that the owner is ready to give you the kefil by the very fact that you come and say that you're ready to pay. But not by the shayel though. By the shayel, you're borrowing. If you actually are reimbursing the owner, you pay him back for the oinus that happened, then he's ready to give you the kefil, but not before that. Tanya Kva say that Rav Zvid, we learned in the Brayse where it says what Rav Zvid said. The Brisa says, a person borrowed a cow from his friend, v'nignavon, got stolen, and v'kidim ha'shoyel v'shilim. And the shoyel came forward, and he paid. And then you find the ganev, mishalem tashlumi kefil l'shoyel. So you pay the kefil to who? To the shoyel. So here you see the Brisa uses the expression v'kidim hashoyel v'shilim. When the shoyel paid, then if you find the ganev, the shoyel gets the kefil. Okay, so now the Gemara goes back to the two versions that we had before and what Rav Papa said. Now the Lishna Kama de Rav Papa, the first version of what Rav Papa said, Vadai lehavet to yufte. This Brisa is not going to refute the first version of Rav Papa, because in the first version, when Rav Papa said that by the shoyel you don't get the kefil, Rav Papa was talking about a case by the shoyel where the shoyel said he's ready to pay. Similar to the other shemrim, when he says he's ready to pay, there you get the kefil. Regarding the shoyel, Rav Papa said you don't get the kefil. But Rav Papa could still agree to what Rav Zvid says there and what it says in the Brisa, that by the shoyel, if he actually paid, he does get the kefil. So it's not going to refute the first statement, or according to the first version of what Rav Papa said. According to the second version of what Rav Papa said, shall we say that it refutes the second version of what Rav Papa said? Because Rav Papa clearly said in the second version that a shoyel is just like every other shayma. As soon as you say you're ready to pay, the owner is ready to give you the kefil. And in the Brisa it said only kidem hashoyel v'shilim. Only if he paid, then he gets the kefil. So Rav Papa answers, Mi alima mimasnisin. Is the language of this Brisa any stronger than the language of the Mishnah? The Tani in the Mishnah, what did it say? Shilim. That when the shomer pays, he gets the kefil. And we explained that what did our Mishnah mean to say? Ba'amar. Not only when he actually paid, but it means to say when he said he's ready to pay. So we could say here in the Brisa, when it speaks about the shoyel, it means to say kidem means that he was ready to pay, but not that he actually paid. But the Gemara says you can't compare the language of the Brisa to the Mishnah. Midami, it's not the same thing. Hasam lekatani kidem. The Mishnah doesn't use this expression kidem. He came forward. Hachakatani kidem. Here it uses the term kidem. Kidem sounds like he actually came and he is already paying. So therefore, it's still a question of Papa that says the shoyel gets the kefil even if he just said he's going to pay. So the Gemara says no, not necessarily. My kidem. What does the term kidem mean? Kidem v'amar. He came forward and he to Bezdin and he made a statement. He said, "I'm ready to pay." But not only if he actually paid. So it's not a question of Papa. But the Gemara asks on this, the Ketani, the Brisa that we brought before. In the Brisa that we brought before to prove what Rabbi Yechanan said, there it says, Gabi Seiche. What does it say? V'ama. By Seiche, the Brisa clearly says that the person says, Hareini Mishalem, and he gets the kefil. The Gabi Shoyel, now in this Brisa here, regarding the Shoyel, it uses a different term. It says Kidim. It uses the term that he was Kidim. So Shmami no dafke ketani. So it seems like there's a difference here in the expression of the Brisa. The Brisa is being very specific. By the Seicher, by the other Shemrim, even if he says he's going to pay, he gets the kefil, not by the borrower. Only if he actually is kidim. It sounds like here it's only if he comes and pays, then he gets the kefil. So the diuk, the difference between these expressions of the two Brisas, we could see that it's not over here means he actually paid. So the Gemara says on this, but not necessarily is that a raya. Midi gabi hadodi tanya. Are these two Brisas, were these two Brisas taught together? That you can be medayik in the difference in the language, where by the Seicher and the other Shemrim it says the term Omar, and over here in this Brisa it says Kidem. If these two Brisas were not taught together, you can't contrast the two expressions that it says in these two Brisas. So the Gemara says, Shailinu, L'tanoi, the Beir Abchi, or the Beir Abayshia. They asked by the Tanoim, Bar Abchi and Abayshia, that they had all the trusted Brisas, that these are the Brisas that the Gemara is quotes from the yeshiva of Rab Chia and Abayshia v'Amri, and they said, yeah, Gabi Adadi Tanya. These two Brisas, the lashon of Omar by the Seicher, the lashon of Kidim by the Shoyel, they were taught together, and therefore we could be medayik that the term Kidim that it says by the Shoyel means that he actually paid, and only then he gets the kefil. So therefore it refutes the second version of Rav Papa that says regarding the Shoyel that you get it even if the Shoyel gets the kefil even if he just said he's going to pay. The Gemara now begins another over here regarding this payment of the kefil, a bunch of different cases of possibilities of whether he would get the kefil, the shayman, would he get the kefil or not. So first the Gemara says, Pshita, what would be an obvious halacha is, Omar eni mishalem. First, the shayman refuses to pay, he says, I'm not paying you. He comes and says, it's not my fault, it wasn't my pshia, I'm not ready to pay. And then, he changes his mind. He comes and says, you know what, forget it, I'm not swearing that it's not my fault, I'm paying you. So, in the end, he said he's ready to pay. The fact that he once refused, that doesn't matter. Now he said he's paying, so he pays. So he's ready to pay that is. So therefore he gets the kefil. But however, the following case will be an ibaya. Elo Oma Hareini Mishalem. What if the shomer came and offered to pay? And then the Chazav Oma Hareini Mishalem changes his mind. Then he comes and says, no, I'm not ready to pay. Mai. So what's the halacha now if later on the ganav is found and he's going to pay kefil? Who gets this kefil? Mi amrinon. Do we say he retracted? So he said now he's not ready to pay. So the kefil goes to the owner, not to the shomer. Or maybe really, once he said before in the bezdin that he's going to be paying, so then he's sticking to his words that he's going to pay. Now that he said he's not going to pay because he doesn't have the money now, he's just pushing him off. He's not ready to pay right now. But once he said before he's going to pay, he gets the kefil. Another case where there's an ibaye, person said he's ready to pay, but he died. Now when the owner comes and asks the children, your father had the pikadon and he said he's going to pay me, and the children says, no, we're not paying. So what do we say here? Who gets the kefil from this ganaf if he's found? And do we say, the children are not sticking to what the father said. The children are saying, my father said I'm going to pay. We're not paying. So therefore they don't get the kefil. They're sticking to what the father said. They don't have money right now, so they're pushing off the payment. But really, once the father said he's going to pay, the children are going to pay up as well. So therefore, if the ganav is found, the children will get the kefil. Another case, the Gemara has any boy.
When he says shil, it means about business. Is that
Yeah.
So how can you say you don't want to pay? Business has to force him.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Bezdin could force him, because if it's in a case that Al Pi Din, he could pater himself, even though he said it in the Bezdin, which l'chayre obligates him to pay, but l'chayre he could have charata. Okay, now another case, shilmu banim mai. What's going to be the halacha in the case where the children paid? Meaning, when the father was alive, he never obligated himself to pay at all. He didn't say anything about it. But then the children themselves, they came along and said, and they paid actually. The children actually paid for this pikadon now. So what's the halacha here? By the children paying, do they now also get the kefil if the ganav is found? Matzia malahu. We say like this: the owner can say to the children, "Ki aknoi kfele." That there's the assumption here that he's makne the kefil to the shomer. That's lavuchay. That's only to your father. The avidli naich nafshoi, because your father was my friend and he did me a lot of favors. Besides the fact that he held this pikadon for me, so to your father, I was ready to give over the kefil if he pays me. The tchuloi. But to you, I don't know you. You don't do me all these favors. If you pay me, so then you paid me. That's your choice, but you don't get the kefil. Or there's no difference if he's getting the payment, so therefore he's ready to give he's ready to be makna the kefil to them as well. Another case, shilim lebanim. How about the shomer himself? So he paid the kefil, but not to the bala pikadon. The bala pikadon died. Now he's paying the kefil to the children. So what's the halacha now? Will he get now the kefil if the ganav is found? The children of this owner of the pikadon can say to this person that paid, to the shomer that paid, Ki avuna kfela. Our father, he's the one that was ready to give the kefil to you if you pay. Because all of the relationship you have with him, the favors that you did him. For us, we don't know you. We're not. We didn't get any favors from you, so therefore we're not ready to give the kefil to you, even if you pay us. Or there's no difference, even the children, if they're getting the payment, so then they're ready to give the kefil to this person if the ganav is found. Another case, shilmu banim lebanim. In a case where it's both the bala pikadon and the shomer of the pikadon died, and it's the children that are paying to the children of the owner of the pikadon. In such a case, what's going to be the halacha? Will you get the kefil or not? Obviously, this is all based on the previous ibayis. If in the previous ibayis you're going to say that you do get, but over here where it's both banim to banim, in this case there's no relationship between them on any side. None of them. So over here maybe you don't get the kefil at all, or maybe there's no difference. Once you pay, you get the kefil. Another shaila, shilem mechza. What's if you pay half of the value of this pikadon? Do you get half of the kefil for paying half? Or maybe not. Maybe only if you pay the full kefil. Then the owner is ready to give you the kefil, not for half. Shal shtei paras. It wasn't one cow or one object that you pay half of it. It was two different cows. V'shilam achas man. One of the cows you paid up fully, and the other one you didn't pay. So maybe over here you could say it's a separate cow. So over here you pay that up fully. Maybe you should get the kefil for that. Shal min hashutfin, a case where a person borrowed from partners. And so over here, Vishilim Lechat Man, he paid one of the partners, but he didn't pay the other partner. So would you say that one partner is ready to be makna the kefil for what he got paid, even though the other partner didn't get paid? Or the opposite case, Shutfin Sheshalu, if it's partners that borrowed something, Vishilim Echad Man, and one of these partners paid his share, his responsibility, he paid half for what got lost. So do you say that this one partner that paid, he's going to get half of the kefil for his share that he paid? Or another case, shal that is shal min isha, a person that borrows an animal from a woman. And what we're talking about over here, as Rashi explains, is nichse melug. The nichse melug is the properties or the possessions that the woman brings into the marriage. It's not part of the ksubah, the nichse tzem barzel. It's not part of the ksubah, meaning that over here the halacha is that any properties she owns during the marriage, the husband can use and gets any of the paytas of her possessions, but the guf of the animal, the guf of the karka, belongs to her. So now the person borrowed this from a woman, and v'shilem lebaila, and he pays to the husband. What's going to be the halacha here? He pays to the husband, which only gets the paytas of this, but not the isha, which the guf of the animal belongs to her. Okay, Taisus discusses over here. Some Rishonim say that what this means is, according to Rashi, that he paid it to the husband without the knowledge of the isha. She has no idea that the husband gets this, and therefore she's getting nothing from it. So, is that enough of a payment to say that now he gets the kefil? Paid only to the husband, not to her, even though the guf of the animal belongs to her. Or isha sheshala, a woman that borrows, and vishilim baila, and she didn't pay the kefil, but her husband, which uses what the wife borrowed, is the one that paid the kefil. But she, which borrowed the item itself, did not pay the kefil. The husband just paid the kefil. What's the halach in such a case? Does the owner give the kefil to the husband that paid? Teiku, all these cases remain unresolved.
One thing he didn't say. He said the kids pay to the same, but if he's the shamer himself paid to the kids.
Yeah.
They didn't say this over here.
The shamer itself that paid to the kids? No, it didn't say that.